Alright, in this video we're going to be working on a Zotac 1070 mini graphics card, and it came in for no power. Let's read what the customer wrote, and this is an expedited repair for the customer. Customer is paying more so we can get this done quick. Let's read what the customer wrote. Have a GPU GTX 1070 that will cause any device that is plugged into it refuse to post. Has been tried with two systems, Ryzen 5 and Intel i7. Both of them do not give any errors or indication as to why the systems do not boot. Both work fine with integrated graphics or a different GPU plugged in. Has had fan replaced and also replaced the thermal pads. Thermal paste. Alright, so the video card does not post and customer tried it in two different systems. Same result. Let's take a look at the card and see if we see anything obvious. Just a sec. The first thing I want to do is physical inspection so we can see if there's anything blown, anything burned, any component that is ripped off the board. I don't want to do any testing now. I just want to do a quick physical inspection and then we'll test later. A tiny piece is broken off from here. It should not be a big deal. I mean, based on first impression, I do not see anything that stands out. And we have a heat sink here. No burnt components and no blown components. A quick physical inspection on back of the board. I'll do this quick. And the back looks good. What I usually sometimes look for are maybe missing components, broken components that are close to the base here. They tend to get knocked off. Alright, and the back looks clean. So let's start doing some measurements on the cord. Meter in continuity mode. And we're going to start by testing the 12-volt line on the base here. Any one of those 3 pins. Now look at this, we have a short. We have a dead short, 0 ohm short. And 3.3 volts. We're good. So we have a short on the 12-volt line on the base here. If we measure from the top, we do not have a short. So we do have a short down at the bottom. What's causing this short? That's what we have to find out. So aside from this board being dirty, what I want to do is possibly check the gate resistance on those MOSFETs. This is a dual N-channel MOSFET. We're going to measure the gate in resistance mode. Just want to see what readings we get. 303 kilo ohms. That's way too high. It should be around, I would say, anywhere between 8 to 12K. Let's measure the second one. This one here. And look at that, 2.2 ohms. Wow, that's almost a short. 2.2 ohms. And if we measure the one over it, maybe I can go like this with the camera so you can see what I'm doing. If we measure the one right above it, 9K, and that's good. $9K, that's good. And the one above it, 8.65, just about right. And the one above it, 8.55. I'm going to start with the second one. The one that's given is 0.2 ohm reading. It's giving me 1.6 ohm reading right now. I'm gonna start with this one. Maybe this is the one that's causing the short. It has very low resistance. The gauge should be around 8 to 12K based on my experience working on those cards. I mean, I've worked on so many cards last week. I'm gaining more and more knowledge on how these boards behave. What I do every time I work on a video card is I take measurements when the board is faulty and I take measurements when the board is good. That way in the future, when we get the same video card, I can kind of tell what's going on with the board and figure out the problem. So right now, let's go ahead and remove this MOSFET. And after doing so, we're gonna measure to see if we still have a short on the 12-volt line. Right now, those MOSFETs are right next to the aluminum capacitors. And you know what happens if you apply heat onto those capacitors. You've seen a previous video that I did working on a video card, how that capacitor just popped. I mean, I'm trying to point heat away from this aluminum cap. And just to be on the safe side, it's always advisable to wear goggles if you are trying to heat up areas where you have those aluminum caps. Just to be on the safe side. Your eye is worth a lot more than this repair. All right, so this one is out. And now we're gonna measure to see if there's still a short on this 12-volt line. So meter in resistance mode or in continuity mode. And the short is gone. The short is gone. You see? So we narrowed down the problem to one MOSFET. Let's prep the pads here so we can solder another MOSFET. Okay. Now what I want to do is extract a MOSFET from a donor board that we have here, a DAD graphics card. And this video card uses a similar dual channel MOSFET. So I just want to make sure the orientation is correct. Very nice. Right, so let's measure one more time. Meter in continuity mode. And we're gonna measure one of the first 3 pins. And we do not have it that short anymore. Let's go ahead and test this cord and see what happens. Alright. We're gonna power it on. And let's see. On this motherboard, if the video card is not detected, we got 6 beeps. And look at this. It's working. It's working. Let me turn it off. Job is done. The job is done on this one. So for this card, I'm gonna keep in mind that the first MOSFET, the gate reading on the first MOSFET is high. I'm gonna keep that in mind. We're gonna reassemble it and we're gonna do a benchmark on it to make sure it's working before we mail it to the customer. But right now, the computer was able to see the card and we got the display on the screen. So the customer is gonna be happy. We're gonna invoice and mail this back to the customer. I hope you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Leave a comment if you have any questions and we'll do something else in the next video.